we good? There we go. So, where am I? Same fucking spot. 10 years later. What am I going to do today, Michael? Got a lot of ideas, but none of them are going to produce any results in the kind of few hours of brain space I have to work with. My brain capacity is diminishing by the day. My interest in doing anything useful with my life is diminishing by the day. The world is plunging into retardation increasingly day after day. Nobody gives a fuck. It's probably all rigged. It's probably just some bullshit simulator. I mean, that's what I think. I think we're in a bullshit simulator. And life is designed to just... It's bullshit by design. Obviously, life could be way better. Life could be some sort of paradise or even some sort of positive experience where you like don't hate the whole thing, but apparently that's not what, well, at least that's not my experience. The little bit of positivity in life is outweighed by the negativity, the daily misery, the back pain, the lack of motivation to just get up, get out of bed, do anything. It's like the only way to make life, worth the while is to just indulge yourself. And that's not sustainable, and so you're basically just fucked. Already out of coffee. Don't understand how that's possible. YouTube doesn't like my resolution. Alright, so the reason I turned on the stream is to talk about what I'm doing, just to try and help think it through. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some sort of like UI kind of it's like a list as the navigation. They're almost like tabs, but these are almost like it's like an email inbox, and so they're bigger than tabs. It's like a whole preview. And I think that's good for certain situations, but man, this is so far beyond me in so many ways that I'm just so tired of like even thinking about anything. And I don't know if my mental state will improve. I don't know if the coffee is still kind of holding me back. It might be, but like if I stop drinking coffee, I'll be nothing like for months. And the last time I gave up all substances for, this is about a year ago, for about 3 or 4 months, I gave up everything and it didn't help. And then I started drinking heavily. So that sucks. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling one of those days where I'm just going to turn this shit off and go take a nap or something. Because, man, life is just fucked. And when I sat down on my computer, I was in a decent mood. I was looking at this magnet video. I don't know if I can play this without getting a copyright strike. And YouTube are such fucking cunts when it comes to... I clicked over to my this active community guidelines strikes. It's like oh my God, it just makes me want to punch somebody because they have a whole like probation system. You have to take the policy training. It's like, Jesus Christ, really? YouTube is screwed. Their whole platform has just become AI garbage. But, you know, it's impossible for real people to try and post anything and, like, get any results. You know, myself, a perfect example of it is, like, there's just no audience for, you know, kind of impromptu content like this. Not that I expect people to show up to hear me rant, but, you know, I've gotten, like, 0 or 1 view on all of my streams ever, so... It's probably me. A quick 7-question training to have it expire in 90 days. Just shut the fuck up. Like, I couldn't care less if YouTube banned me and I don't have this stream. They're probably going to do it because life is fucked and it doesn't matter what you do. It's all just... It's rigged at the spiritual level. Like, everything that everybody does is rigged. Nobody's really in charge of their thoughts. Maybe you have a little bit of veto control over your actions, but it's hard to say. It was really went to go to the bathroom and brought my phone along to play a quick game of chess, and the fucking game just pisses me off so much sometimes. With like 2 seconds left, I'm forced into just making quick decisions, and I didn't think the guy was going to be able to block me from, you know, I'm on the last line, ready to promote my queen, and he gets his king just close enough to checkmate me, and it's just so irritating to get beat in chess sometimes. Like, winning just doesn't feel good at all. And this is the point of life, is like, it's way worse than it is good. And you could say like, oh, it's me. It's like I have a bad attitude. It's okay, maybe. But I don't really control the way I feel about things. Again, mild veto power sometimes, but well, nobody's listening. I should just turn this fucking bullshit off. But, I mean, life is literally so bad. I mean, it's literally so fucking bad. Useless. Miserable. Depressing. Like, hopeless. It's just, I mean, there's a million words you could use to describe it, but it's because it's rigged. It's mostly because there are so many smart people who maybe they want it to burn. I mean, that's kind of what the Bible says, right? That there's demons and a lot of people get wrapped up in evil shit and they actually want to see everything crumble because they're unhappy like I am because it's useless and miserable and depressing and hopeless, and nobody can, you know, maintain any level of happiness. And so once you kind of, you know, nobody really is willing to admit it, how bad it is. But once you do, or, you know, once you kind of like naturally come to this conclusion, it's pretty dismal. It's pretty like terrible, and it ruins you. It, you know, like corrupts the core of you. And so it wouldn't surprise me if successful people are actually become evil. They like run out of happiness. Then you'll turn to drugs and alcohol and sex and porn and child sacrifice and all the other things that life has to offer. And, you know, that'll help for a little while. But then you'll be back to misery and realizing like, wow, you're at the end of the fucking road. There's nothing else to do after you've sacrificed and raped a kid. So they want it to burn. They're sowing discord. They're just like, they want everyone to hate each other, and they want the whole fucking planet to just burn in misery. And I think most people would probably admit that there's a deep state that are creating problems. And, well, I mean, I guess my problem is my lack of success, and that's not necessarily the deep state doing anything about it. It's that I can't fucking focus. But that's because it's rigged at a spiritual level. Good ideas, sometimes, but not when I need or want them. So, God damn it, man. I'm gonna waste this whole fucking day. My brain is not anywhere near. Well, let's see if winning a game of chess could do it. Because I don't really like playing on the computer. But I guess I will do it. I don't want to play 1 minute. A new game? Maybe? This is a completely different user experience. Like, this looks like I'm already starting, but I haven't started yet. Now I choose which kind of game I want. I guess these 10-minute ones are alright. I've already played this guy before. Okay, I don't actually hit this. Well, no, maybe I do. Maybe this is how I play this one. Yeah, and then this, something like this is pretty familiar. Usually he doesn't, or they don't bring the queen back. Yeah, I don't like this spot. I guess something like this, maybe. I could kick him here. Don't know if that helps anything. Why not? YOLO. Could follow up with this pawn. He can't take it. He can check me, so I do have to be. If I move this pawn, he could queen. Put the queen here. Try and block it with one of these. I could sacrifice my bishop and take 2 pawns and put him in check, but then he just pins me and sacrifices the queen, which isn't really good. I could put my knight up here. That does kind of help me if I... No, but I need... Can I sacrifice first? I could take the first pawn. He retakes. Then I put the knight there, but then he has a chance to come up and block it. I think maybe something like this feels alright. Sure, why not? There's gonna be a lot of F-bombs in a second if I lose again, so just prepare. I was playing a 2-minute game earlier. The 10-minute games give a lot more time. Why is he doing that? Sure, why not? Unpins his pawn. I could still do this thing. Don't mind that. It would actually His bishop is... But I could kind of march down and march my pawn up and check him a little bit. Oh, interesting. Put this pawn up here. He might take me. I take him. Gotta be careful about getting pinned here. Could move the bishop back. He might just go here, and I can move my bishop up to block it. I don't know. These are tough spots, I guess. Where do I want my bishop? I do kind of need to castle, but also, if I put it here and he takes and I take, he's going to bring the knight up here, and then I'm in not trouble, but I think this isn't actually terrible. Let's see how this plays out. Oh, hello. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna take my pawn here after this little trade. I'm gonna be down a bit. And lost my castle. Not exactly what I was thinking. The knight up here could help. I don't actually know chess.com streaming rules. I think I want to do this. He does have this angle here. But I could check him here, huh? Sure, why not? But then do I want to move this? Now he has this spot that's not guarded. Oh, hello. Did not see that coming. Well, in that case, I think don't really want to block my bishop. I think maybe just going back here. I do sort of want to force him out. Where would he go? He'd probably have to go back home. And then I could potentially push this pawn. But if I go here and I push this pawn, his knight takes here and puts me in where it threatens my queen. I think I like this spot. Oh, let's kick him back out of there. I'm way behind on time, so I'll have to play kind of quick. I don't know why I feel like blocking putting a meat shield up there. If I bring this one up, he takes my pawn. easily guard that pawn. Can't castle. I don't feel like I'm trying to... I don't know. Alright, let's just threaten his bishop, I guess. Until I figure out what else to do. I mean, pushing this pawn up, oh, not anymore. Well, maybe. Starting my queen. I was thinking that could be not anymore. It's not so good. Kind of think. No, it's not really that good. This is seems kind of safe. Definitely low on time. Can I push this now? I've not played this out in my head, but we don't have time for that. Gotta be careful of this spot here. But I don't think he really has that angle. Well, he could move his queen over. That'd probably be the best way for him to do it. How would I block that? I think then I'd just push the pawn up. No, fuck. Can't take him. Can't stay here. Not really worried about that. This seems safe, right? This knight has a potential check here, but is blocked for a moment. I think this is okay. Still gotta be careful about this pin against my king. Oh, wonderful. Okay. I think we can do something like this. I'm not sure where he's trying to go. If he's trying to... Or if he's just pushing me around. Push this pawn forward and... He'd probably just push up. Yeah, I don't think we want that. I think this pawn forward. Oh, hello. Well, let's do this. This is a bad spot. Fucking hell, he's going for it. It's such a bullshit game, man. I fucking hate this game. Wow, you're so good. Such fucking dog shit. I don't even want to play, but I will. Nice. Maybe I should get my pawn off the wall. Keep him from checking me here. I need to get this other knight or rook over there. Hello. maybe. Was he gonna sack the knight? Should have thought about that a little bit more. Forgot he had this one on there too. I don't have to take it. I don't know if running is better there, because then he gets my knight. Hello. Pins this pawn. What about this bitch? He can check me with that one. Okay. Sort of catching up on time. Hello. Only move. Isn't this fun? I don't know if it matters. Fucking bullshit, man. Such a waste of time. Fucking hate my life. Just pulls you down into the fucking depths of despair. Like, the one thing that I enjoy doing, I just suck at and can't seem to win. It's like there's literally millions and millions of super intelligent people out there, and yet we're on the brink of World War III, and half the country's on food stamps, and fucking web technologies just suck ass. It's so hard to make a website. Nobody can fucking do it. So you got a dozen website builder. Well, there's probably like 100 website builder companies out there that are all making their own website builders, and they all suck ass because nobody's fixed the underlying problem. That's what I set out, as my life's mission, to make a better web framework, and it's all trash. It's literally like it's set up. It's like, like, here's this fun game where you get to live as a little human, and if you study and play your cards right, you could make some money and be happy and do cool things and go on vacations. And oh, you fucking cunt. Yeah, take my piece, motherfucker. There's not much I can do here. I think I could just put my, you don't want my free pawn. I guess that's okay. What's up now, bitch? Let's just simplify this little problem here. I don't think I have to worry about that. Boom, +3. Let's go. Maybe. Is it getting ready to castle over here? I got a lot of time. I should probably slow down and think about this. I do have this square here. Looks nice. I guess we could do that. Oh, you want to give me... No, I'm going to defend that at the same time. Let's go. He's undefended. Kind of think putting him back. He's not really in a good spot there. I don't really see anything else for him to do. I think stacking this pawn up is not a bad idea. Get this one up here. He doesn't want it. How about... what can we do here? If I don't take this pawn, then he gets mine. Can't really answer that, can I? I think I just take the pawn. This rook is doing anything here. I think we might get a bodyguard over here. We gotta take that pawn, right? Yeah. He might put his here. I do still have this square. I could throw this pawn up here, just to maybe bait him into putting his rook here. I don't think he's that dumb, but you never know. Not sure what he's gonna do there. How about we get this knight doing something? Here and then here. I do sort of have to watch how two pawns here, but well, also this one can help me throw this pawn up here. Just sort of my original plan. He does not want to lose his rook. I don't really have anything there. Now, I could just kind of push hard over here. I don't know how that looks. Let's see. Is this going to run me into trouble? Can he take this pawn? Yeah, he can. How about we go here? Doesn't seem like a terrible idea. Oh, hello. I do have the little check maneuver. I don't think that helps. If he goes here, I can't really. I can just come back. Just put this rook up here to help guard that one. Well, he gets my pawn. Fuck. Now I can do this. I think. If he takes and I put the pawn there, I might have to keep this pawn here and go this way. Because if I put my pawn here, then he gets both my rooks. But I think we can do this with this one. What's up, bitch? Okay. Does he want to pin my knight or something? I think I can do this. Why not? Oh, fuck. That was stupid. Jesus Christ. That's not what I wanted to do. He's going to take this pawn. Or he gets this pawn. Either way. Not what I wanted. Oh, hello. I think I want to go here. If he goes there, I can check him and pop over here. I think that's okay with me. Could get a little dicey, but let's see. Shows how much time I've spent on each move. Definitely more time than him, huh? Although we're even here. I guess it all adds up. 48 seconds. Holy shit. I know he wants this spot. He's probably thinking through what happens here. Really? Really, friend? I don't know. Does that make me feel good enough about my life to get back to work? The problem is, it's like, no, not even close. There's very little reward. I mean, I wasn't even up. What does the engine say? Analysis. God, this guy is so annoying. Can I just delete this guy forever? He's always just saying stupid shit. I just want to see the self-analysis. Oh, yeah, and a new tab. Great experience. Let's see. Last move. Was I really up that much? Where's the point? Was I +4? Since when? When did I go up 4? Oh yeah, he sacked his bishop. I don't know if he didn't realize that. Okay, yeah, it was +3. I seem to pick up a pawn somewhere. Right there. Okay. Man, he just called it there. I would have kept fighting. Fuck. My graphics card is whizzing because the stockfish is running permutations here. Kind of crazy. Alright, I mean, it's like, it's not enough to make me feel better about myself. This is the wrong channel. Switched over to old channel. Man, I got so many fucking channels and switch account. Yeah, this was the one that this actually has my most subscribers, 34, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I remember this guy, see all. Oh. So I can't see Only includes users who have made their subscriptions public. Okay. So, this whole thing, I messed up my hair, left it messy on purpose. Let me see what kind of videos I posted. I think they were all shorts on this one. Oh, only 3. They got decent views, I guess. Oh, and they got some likes. 44 likes. 5 comments. Now, I paid money for this one, right? That's why it got 500 views. I don't remember. Let me see if I can see the... What? Why can't I go to the promote tab? It's such dog shit, man. Spending money to boost a post. That's a pretty decent drop-off. Half the people are still watching it 20 seconds later. I mean, I always thought that, like, just seeing somebody talking on camera would be, like, interesting, because you don't see people just saying shit on YouTube. Subscribers +3. Wow. Maybe I should keep that going. I just kind of gave up on it because the growth was so slow. It's like, you know, well, I mean, I guess 30 some subscribers. Like, maybe I just got to get back into the thing. It's kind of one of the things I was thinking about today, and even, I don't know, on stream last week or something, I was talking about maybe trying to figure out how to tell a story and edit a story. And, well, I guess I'll turn my camera back on here. The problem is that so many people on YouTube have figured out how to do this, and I've never done it effectively. All my lame attempts at trying to edit shit either, I mean, 90% of them just don't end in anything that I upload because it just sucks and I never finished it. Well, it wasn't worth, you know, the time to try and finish it. And so, you know, the couple of things that I have edited were just garbage. Like, one of them, I won't even get into what they were, but they weren't good. And in fact, you know, the voiceover was a little, like, was kind of shit and just kind of cringy because I didn't, I didn't, like, give it, you know, do another take. I could have just done another voiceover. I could have, like, tried a few more times, get some better audio or whatever, and not have it sound so fake. It was like a bad rehearsal. It was rehearsed, but it was bad, and so it was just kind of like, I clearly didn't spend much time with it. So, anywho, the idea of telling a coherent story is about, you know, just that laser focus on whatever purpose it is that you're trying to say. And so I've thought about trying to do, like, well, for example, script, record, edit. The basic process of creating a video. It's like, okay, I could do that. The problem is that any idea that I've ever come up with, I start playing this, like, is it worth it? What kind of results is it going to get? And is it going to be, you know, something that I can, like, pat myself on the back and be like, okay, that was decent. Like, if it gets me, like, 10 subscribers, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's keep going 10 at a time. Let's grow this thing. But the growth rate to, you know, you need like thousands of subscribers to get like 100 views, you know, an extra 100 views on your video. And so it's a very, very dismal numbers game. And nearly every video I've ever thought of doing might be worthwhile to somebody somewhere, but is probably not going to be like, it's not a viral hit. Not even close. Like, I mean, trying to get something to go viral is just like, it's got to be sensational or spectacular or just amazing. Like, educational things, you know, useful information, not going to do the trick for going viral. So, well, and obviously there's levels of going viral. You could have a video that gets like 10,000 views, and it's not like super viral, but it's relatively viral. And, Well, then I've thought about trying to like tell my story, or maybe more productively tell the story of the WebOS. What is my framework? How does it work? Give an overview of it so that other people might be interested in it. And I don't know. I mean, that's probably what I should have been working on for years now. But like, the best way to explain my WebOS is to create a little playground, and I could load it into like a code pen or code sandbox or something, and let people play around with it. In fact, I should probably have those links on, like a page somewhere, and have just basic documentation. Be pretty easy to do, I think. Should I try and do it? And it's like, oh, fuck, man. This is one of those times where I'm tempted to say, yeah, let's just do it. Let me just get going with it like I have in the past, but I really don't want to. And the question is why? It's like, well, I don't want to do a shitty job with it first, but I also not really sure what it's going to look like, or what to do, or what to say, or whatever. I spent, a fair number of times trying to sit down and think about like documenting my framework. In fact, I started creating like class pages on occasion where I could, like write up some notes about what it is and what it does. Let's flip over to the friggin' framework and take a look. Like, so in the framework, now on the core pages, like there isn't anything here even. It's like, it's an old style page. On some of these extensions, like the hash pager, like this is a class page. It's sort of where the documentation would go. Now this is my test page. It's like where I'm testing out this UI thing. And so, which is still broken, by the way. I'm not actually sure why. Anyway, the whole idea is like I could start writing out the content for my framework. And well, so let's go to this view page. Why the fuck not? All right, core view.page. We rename this to page.js because I decided to change how that works. Framework core view. Now it should work at least a little bit. However, it is being dumped into the root, which we're using the framework app. Still not 100% sure about how that should go. Kind of wanted the framework to be standalone, but anyway, if I just use the root app, it'll at least render a little bit better. So these were my old test blocks where I could like isolate one of them just in case there was weird shit going on in a different one. I could only run one chunk of code or all of them or whatever. That was a pretty simple test runner, and there's some examples here that putting the JavaScript code next to it is useful. I don't know, do I need some sort of syntax highlighter to like make the code look more like code? Is there a simple way to do that with like just styling a code element? I think it's probably the easiest way. It doesn't have syntax highlighting, but probably doesn't even need it. I mean, a text area could be styled equally. I've thought, I've set them up so that like a text area can be rendered, using eval, and so you can kind of like play with it. Click me. How come it doesn't do anything? Has no click handler. Well, so yeah, I mean the view class is super simple. It's kind of the core of the whole system. I mean, I actually think I should get away from using the base class just because it adds an extra layer of like the call stack I'm not sure if the call stack is part of my problem. Like I would have thought that it could handle 1,000. Like having an extra layer per class wouldn't be such a big deal. But I think maybe nixing that. I don't really even use events nor the tests really, and so essentially like a view and an app are kind of just the two main classes, and the app's not really doing that much either. I guess loading fonts and whatever is not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't know if you even need the root thing, but like it's probably not a bad idea. And I went through kind of reconfigured this whole bit, right? Didn't I do that? I think I added the await here on the page so that rather than just loading it, we're waiting for it to be loaded and kind of executed. Well, so cleaning the thing up and making the kind of core of the framework super simple is definitely one of the things that has been on my to-do list. And, getting rid of the I don't know, maybe I make like a simple framework repo that is literally just the view class and the app class. It could even be just added to the same file. You don't really even need the app, to be honest. Like, if you don't use the app, then you just do it the old-fashioned way with the HTML. I mean, if you really you could just use the view class by itself just to render shit. Now, do you initialize it? I have this little init function here that like sets it as, sets the body as the capturing mechanism. Here I'm using capture as a boolean. In the past I've used capture as a function also. I should probably not do that both ways. This is probably doesn't need to be there because it's kind of optional. Definitely a lot of things to think about. But explaining how it works is these should be switched, right? I don't think this comment applies anymore, Michael. Yeah, I don't know. When you clone something, does it capture in place? It probably would, and so no, you could. I don't know if that comment is. Well, so like making the framework kind of more user friendly or accessible to other people, it could help my cause. I could maybe get people who are. Well, I mean, okay, so one thing that I've really wanted to do is kind of build out more layouts and really a layout system so that it's something that I can wrap my head around and other people could too, where, especially if it's a simple system where you basically have default divs, like there's no need to document that. It's just kind of the basic thing. But then I think adding a class of flex to it is probably a good idea for display flex, kind of like utility classes, just to keep it as raw as possible. But creating examples to show how to do columns. I don't know why all these like simple things have just eluded me so much. It's like I kind of understand them, but at the same time it feels like life is fucking with me. It's like I can figure some things out, but I can't figure out the things that I actually want to figure out. When it comes to like making things super simple so that they're actually usable in a clear way, like providing that clarity is the most useful thing, and that's why life doesn't want to be clarified. It wants to be just this fuckery. And so the spiritual nature of thoughts and problem solving means that some of these super simple layout problems have just eluded me. And I mean, these are decent columns. You can see the third column here goes full width, and this is based on the flex properties, which I don't even, I think they're grow. Each of these is flex 1, which is 110%. I don't actually know how the flex basis affects things, to be honest. I thought I did, but I don't think I do. I need examples to remind myself how this shit's supposed to work. Well, so where's my other? I have this layout class where I can, create these things and try and add some layout to them. And, it's not terrible, but a little confusing. Can I see what flex 1 how 1 auto differs from 110? Wasn't this just on 110? And then it went to, that was weird. It's almost like the layout changed, just, I don't know, in an inconsistent way. Let's see if I can figure that out. Let's put this back to flex. Let's add a bunch here. I think I made this flex. Then I added a bunch here. And then I think I set one of these to min width. I put this on wrap. So that's right. Now if I set this to like either of these, it should grow, because it's not growing yet. Yeah. But it was one of these that was kind of weird. Like, all right, so if I put it to auto, it should grow. If I put it to 0, it should grow. Maybe there's no difference here, because holy shit, this one 0 versus auto. Okay, so this one does matter. It's just a slight differentiation in how it splits the space, I think. The auto is based on like content width, and the 0 or 50% or whatever is based on well, the total width or whatever. Getting strong layouts that, are predictable, easy to understand. That's kind of crazy. These two little ones go from these tiny little blocks to these really tall blocks over here. Flex wrap is kind of tricky. Yeah, and the min width thing is kind of tricky too. The min width is what allows them to like stack up, and on some resolutions it works really well and it's super simple. But I think I was doing, did I have a page in here? Yeah, in here, simple columns. So this is flex wrap 2, but I think I was using max width as the kind of wrap or break condition here. Kind of interesting how that works. I don't know. It's it kind of just works naturally and automatically, and so in a way that's good, but not exactly the right, or like the fluid columns that I'm used to. It's just because I have my whole website left aligned right now, and so, but also Flex usually just kind of automatically fill the space. If I take the max width off of this, then there is no stacking. They just are all full, and then I'd have to like put a breakpoint, hard code a breakpoint in there. And the cards themselves are flex, which is kind of interesting. Like, you don't see it until we exhaust the text, the length of that text, which is dependent on the length of the text. So, not so simple after all. I mean, some column systems hard code the number of columns into the system. I've always felt like if you could just have a simple column system where you just, if you add another column, it just adds the column. You know, if you render 2 columns, then boom, you got 50-50. And if you render a third column, then it goes 33, third each. And I don't know if that's ideal. What if you want, uneven columns, and what if you want to reorder them when they break, to stack them differently? There's all kinds of different layouts. I was drawing a whole bunch of these the other day. Yeah, that one that I'm looking at in my notes would need to have reverse ordering when it stacks up to look properly. Just based on the way the image hugs the bottom. So I could spend time trying to like pre-build these layouts, and in a way it's like until I get it working properly, then kind of like chicken versus the egg. Like I can't build a website without knowing which layout to use or what it's going to look like, but I can't pre-build the layouts without knowing what it should say or whatever. It's just my brain is hurts so much. It's just, it doesn't hurt. It's empty. The clarity that arrives at times has just completely left me. I am in a desert of help and clarity, and I think it's most definitely the bullshit of life. And this is what's so frustrating about it, is that if the system wanted you to know something useful, it would tell you immediately. Like, it's the system that's fucking with me. It's not that it's not about my brain's capabilities, although that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm just drawing a blank. But it's like, it's not me. It's not my lack of effort or focus or willpower or whatever, or capability, because off and on, oh, boom, there it is. Like, got a good idea. Oh, thanks, brain. But more and more, or should I say less and less, I get good ideas or like the mental capacity to do anything about it. And so if anyone else is in that position where, you're struggling to just make sense of life and work on something and try and stay focused and like, I think the game is rigged. I don't think it's... I'm not trying to say that you can't push through and succeed in the end, but it's like, it's bullshit. And it's like one of those claw games where you try and like pick up the prize. It's like, it looks easy, but then you go and you try and do it and you realize like the whole thing is just set up to fail and you were baited into even trying. Best analogy for life is one of those little claw games. So should you keep trying? It's like, be my guest, but it's rigged. And at the deepest level, it's like, why do I keep trying? Well, they set this up so that, it would seem like it was a good idea to play the game, to try and do something useful, to learn how websites work, to build software, to make a web app, to get on social media. It's all bullshit, man. It's such bullshit. Like, most people don't realize how bullshit it is. Most people are either somehow they avoid the bullshit. Maybe they're special people, or the system, favors them or something, or they're part of the matrix or whatever. Or they accept their bullshit and they just do their grind it out doing some bullshit, and that's, okay with them. And I guess that's what life is trying to, life has absolutely backed me into a corner. This little fucking office I'm sitting in, and stolen my capacity to finish the job that I started. And I mean, my streams are proof. I've been fucking working on this shit for 10 years plus. I mean, really, I think I moved to Chicago in 2012, so 13 years ago. Still just fucking pounding my head against the wall, pulling my hair out, and it's getting worse, and I'm like no closer to finishing. Well, I shouldn't say that. Got my newest iteration of the framework live, sort of. I could start trying to build, shit with it. I can't even get 2 columns to work properly. All right, let's try and focus on that. That should be a simple solution. What is the problem with, let me flip this over. What is the problem with the 2 columns? All right, simple 2 columns. So when does it break? What's the condition? We have a query based, which could be a media query, but like a container query is probably better. At a certain container resolution, we apply a different rule. Now, some of that might be required. In fact, it's probably not even the worst idea. It might give the best control over what happens and when. But there is a alternative. So this would be like, the manual approach. Specify a change at a specific width. Or automatically set a min or max width and let it happen. So I like the idea of doing it automatically. You could then potentially just have one set of, well, really you just need to add flex to it. And then maybe if you add like columns, flex columns, then, or maybe it's just columns. Maybe columns has the flex built into it, but then it's like, well, let's just write this out. Columns display flex, and columns and all of the columns inside flex. I don't know. So if you say flex grow one, then you leave the content, the basis at auto, and I don't think you want that. I think you actually want the flex. And then do you want, I mean, maybe flex 1 is actually not the worst idea. I always thought that there was an edge case that this kind of breaks things. What would it be where I think maybe it's like if you set a basis and then you change this to 1, then it overrides that basis. Maybe it's something like that. So then you couldn't put a flex basis on something. Like if you're trying to use flex basis to kind of make a fixed width. Let me see if my little layout widget here can... I really need to make these actual links so that I can right click and open a new tab, but you know, that's a whole, could probably do it pretty quick, but I just don't feel like trying to dig into that layout. All right, so what was I thinking? I wanted, well, so flex, 2 columns, so flex 1 and flex 1, they're equal. All right, so then if I put like a flex basis, I think it matters if it's above or below flex basis 300 pixels. Yeah, it gets overridden. If I put this below flex basis 300 pixels, doesn't that override it? Yeah. Order matters there. What is that? Okay, so that's kind of crazy. Well, so flex 1 is 110, and the problem is that the 300 pixels is, it's not setting this anywhere close to 300 pixels. It's 600 pixels. The other one's closer to 300 pixels. You might think, like, you know, that purple box is like the 300 pixels you were trying to target, but really it's doing its calculation where it shares the space based on one box being starting at 300 pixels and one box starting at 0 pixels, and then kind of splitting the space or something. I don't actually know how, you know, this is where flex is just kind of bullshit. And so maybe using flex basis is the wrong one to do. Okay, now flex 300 pixels looks like it just overrides and doesn't, it ignores the width. So you could do like a max width. I think then it would obey it. That's kind of crazy. Is that how you have to do fixed width columns? Sidebar or something? You have to do a max width? And then it would be able to shrink below that. Interesting. Let me just make a note here. Width is ignored when you have flex 1 or any basis, I think is what I saw there. I didn't think that was the case. I thought width was still kind of used in conjunction with basis or something, but anyway, apparently not. So well, okay, so what's the wrap condition? Well, first let's turn on wrapping, and then, so this will wrap when the padding kind of like hits its minimum, which is interesting, but you don't really want to put a min width on things because then, you know, it can't, then you're going to get some, well, watch, min width 400. If I put min width on these, they will stack up properly, but then at some point down here, then they do this weird thing, and you don't want that. And you could remove it with a breakpoint or something, but let's not do that. Let's try and do the max width thing. So what is the, I guess I'll just put it on here, max width. Let's say 600 pixels. It's not actually as big as... Well, I guess that's a pretty good size for max width. 600 pixels. Okay. So now these things stop growing. Wait, what? We have wrap. We have grow. But we have the max width. Why did I think max width was enough to get it to wrap? Didn't my layout here... What did I turn off here? No, I have the max width. It allows them to stack. And then why do they break though? Why did these wrap and the other one doesn't? I have wrap turned on. Oh, there's no content, that's why. So if we add even one block, I think these will wrap now? No? What if this has a min width? There, now they wrap. So the content has to kind of force it to wrap, which is actually not terrible, but this whole, like, it doesn't fill the box thing is kind of weird. I think maybe the best way to just get two even columns without much fuss is a breakpoint. I think the whole automatic column thing is... I don't know, I'd made a note, probably even down here, something about, like, obeying the min width on a child wasn't working properly. It seems to work okay here. Oh, let's turn this off, add another one, and then add a min width to it. Is that even? All right, let's see. So it doesn't really change size. It does go down just a touch right here. Why is... Do we have any min widths on these guys already? Just that one, right? Max width 600. So that's what's kind of holding this thing back. Let's make this a bit bigger. 800. So yeah, now it goes up to 800, goes down to 400, and then stops. Yeah, all the min and max widths, especially on different parents and stuff, that gets complicated. I don't know if that's a good thing to do. So let's go back to this page. I don't think that's the way to go. Let's rename this max width. So that's basically what we're doing there. Flex. And then we're gonna just try to do it the simplest fucking way I can think of. New file, simple.page.js. And let's load it up. Get rid of the third page for now. I guess these are okay, but why do I have flex on the card? We don't want that, do we? I mean, it could be, but I think for now let's not. Which sort of makes it do the same thing. Let's put a margin bottom here. Margin bottom 1M. confirmed. So it doesn't look so bad. All right, the max width thing, I think maybe this guy. Maybe we nix that. And then, but I don't know, shouldn't it have a max width? All right, let's think this through. Am I looking for some sort of centered option here? Where instead of it just, because like the way that these work, where it just kind of, well, let's go to this one, this max width one, and hide this third column for a second because it's just kind of bullshit. But yeah, I mean, like, so this isn't as bad without the third column. It's a little weird. I mean, like, it would work, but I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of weird the way, like, we just have all this dead space and then pop. But maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's just, why does it not feel right? Well, I guess maybe part of it is that this one column view is normally like centered, and so as you like move it, it kind of is automatically adapting. And I could try and center, let's just see if I can slap some CSS on here. This is flex, and where's display flex? On the root, isn't, maybe it's not display flex. So then these would have to be, well, I could do something like this, and that's not really doing what I want though. Yeah, it's not. I'd have to, can I do like a max width? I don't really want to do a max width on this and center it, do I? I'm not actually sure what I'm looking for, but it's basically like centering this, but also let it grow. The thing is that the container that it's in, kind of like this, can or should probably grow. The padding is not the right option there. Let's just refresh this. Centering this whole thing, you know, especially if it's like, oops, it's kind of its own deal here. How would we center this? I don't actually even know the best way without using flex. Well, main side nav is the left part of it. The root. I mean, doing like a max width and then, but I don't know if I want a max width. Fuck, man. Why is this so tricky? Like most web pages, when they're centered, they kind of have this centered thing going on, right? What is this? Why is this so confusing to me right now? There is like a max width to the one column thing. But I mean, part of my thinking is that I want it to be able to then get bigger than that, so that it's really like each column needs to be centered. I mean, yeah, like this could be, let's just say this was max width 1,000 pixels, and then margin 0 auto. Yeah, so this is the centered approach. However, then at some point it wraps. Can we just do that? Let's see. All right, let's refresh this bitch. And then card. This is the wrong one. Simple one. All right, took off the max width. Let's do max width, I don't know, like 700 pixels, margin 0 auto. this what I want? So forget the title, which is not what I want. Yep, that's not right. Interesting, okay. Kind of like what I was thinking, but God, why is this boiling my brain right now? It's like I've never done columns before. 2 columns. Centered. Do we need a wrapper for the columns? Do we have a wrapper? We do. Alright, well, let's just say this is a section. And we do this whole bit. This isn't the right code, though. What is the max width, then? Because we want it to get big enough. I think really it's just, it needs to be... I don't think we actually want it to be max width. I think we want it to be... I think the cards do need to be max width. And then we need to use the flex properties properly. So essentially centering it like this. Yeah, this is the idea. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so the section is this guy. And that can grow to fill whatever space. And these get maxed out. Now, put a background on there just to see it. Yeah, we do want the sections to be full width, or at least have the capability to be full width. Sometimes you might want to put like a wrapper around these two and make them kind of a single card. And I've done this a whole bunch of times. I don't know why this is like being dodgy right now. It's almost like I can't think about anything because it's fucking stupid, man. But yeah, I mean it wraps. They hit the max width. They stay centered based on the flex thingy. They wrap, boom, at the point. Why do they resize here? That's because of my responsive typography. So that they're doing some resizing in this range here. And so is that why? Yeah, it is, but is the width staying at 700 through that whole thing? And the text is just getting bigger, I think. Yeah, that's what's going on there. So I should probably turn that off just for testing these things, but whatever. So, yeah, that's what you want. Centered columns. Pretty simple. Max width, no breakpoints, and centered. So that's based on the section thing, and it doesn't have to be left aligned, right? Like it could be, if we turn it off, it just defaults to left aligned, and that's more the kind of the one that I didn't really like earlier, is that it was left aligned. So the trick is literally just putting this one property on the center. This thing could have more padding and be like a real section. Well, you need that to disappear on mobile, right? But I do like it. It definitely fills the area real nicely, and this definitely seems like kind of what I've been missing on my framework. So now the thing here is that there's a lot of different types of these sections, and getting the padding to disappear and whatnot. Um, hmm. I could try and, draw some out here so that it's a little clearer what kind of sections are possible. I mean, can I add another column to this? Let's see what that looks like. Might as well just duplicate this one. Oh, all my styles disappeared. So let's undo this real quick, and then on my section we're gonna put that background RGBA and flex. No, it's justify content, I think. Let me just verify that's the right one. Section flex, justify content, center. That's the one I wanted. I can put some padding on there. You have to. Okay, so that's good. And it should work for a third one, right? Let's try that now. 3 columns. Okay, so the max width thing, that means that they're gonna stack like that if there's 3 of them. Which might be okay. They're definitely gonna stack up this way and stay centered. I think for like big blocks like this, well, and they don't shrink any here, which they could do, but it's favoring just a hard break rather than, like, they are fluid blocks. Why does that? They don't have a min width, do they? Max width. I don't think they have a min width. I think there's a min width on this thing here because that's just how I coded it. What? Min width? Why? Oh, and on the paragraphs. See, this is stupid. Don't do that. Alright, let's take the min widths off. That's not a good idea. This should just... The min height is necessary on the fake image, but the min width on these two is not. I don't know what I was thinking earlier. I don't think we need this. I don't think we need... No, we do need this. Do we need this? I think so. Now, I think flex 1 is actually maybe not the worst idea, because then it's going to even out the columns, which is, I think, maybe better than auto basis. Okay, so now they flex. Now they respond better. Before the min width, what? Were they really at their min width? So they go. Oh, they go way friggin' down. Okay. So maybe I don't know. Should they have a min width, or maybe a flex basis? Let's see if a flex basis would allow these to break. Flex 1. We're gonna go 1, 1. If we say something like 300 pixels, will that cause them to break? No. There's no... Oh, wait. There is a spot here where they break. Huh. Okay. Interesting. So, right here, are they at about 300? Yeah. A little bit above 300. And if we go above 310 or 308, then they need more space. So that could be the right kind of way to control they don't get too small. Not necessarily the best way to do it, but there's 3 automatic columns that go really big and really small. And that's on my giant monitor kind of what I've been looking for. Now, do I want to center everything? I don't know, maybe. It's not terrible. Also, like, figuring out what content goes in each of these sections, and like, is there a section title? Page 3 section title. Ooh, yeah. So you probably need to do something more like this. It's no longer doing the things properly. We need this one to be on something like flex center. Yeah, but we we want the title to be with it. Fuck. How do you get that title to line up? Maybe you just have to center it. I think getting it to left align with that content's probably not the right solution. Let's just say H3 margin 0 auto. No? Because it's block? Yeah. Maybe a display flex is going to do it. No. Shouldn't the width be smaller now? No, it's still full width. Let's say inline block. No? You motherfucker. Margin 0 auto. Why not? Does inline block not do that? Well, I'm trying to do it the wrong way. Or maybe it's the right way, but easier way. Text align center. Alright. Fuckface. How hard can that be? Jesus Christ. Boom. Oh, wow, that gets it really small. So it's the flex basis. Flex 1, 400 pixels, I think. Alright. All the way down to mobile. Now, how do you get, like, padding for desktop that just disappears eventually? I don't actually know if you can do it. Could you use clamp or something to do? Well, you could clamp the minimum, but like that's not really going to help. Do you really want it all the way down to 0? And I think basically you just have to get it to snap to 0 at a certain point, which would be somewhere around, I don't know, here, somewhere on the mobile range, like under 700 pixels. Then you have, I don't know, I've thought about having a JavaScript class that you put on the body that's just break or something so that everything can listen to it. So you could do it with that, but yeah, I think at some point you just want all this padding to just, well, you want these white pages to go, or these white cards to go full width on mobile. So this, you'd get rid of the padding, and then this, you'd get rid of the padding. Maybe still have some top And bottom padding. Yeah, maybe a minimal amount of padding. Where is that even coming from there? It must be from the max width, 700. Yeah, it'll disappear right there. Yeah, so these gray bars here that are full width don't look right. And so you could leave a little padding on this. Where did that go on this one? Like 1%. How does that look up here? Yeah, I mean, something like that's not terrible, where it's just automatically adjusts itself. Gives you just enough of a visual to see that. Is it a box shadow? 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel. Whoops. How does this go? Can't we just box shadow? Black? No, come on, guys. Give me the UI. Give me the thing. I think we have to do 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, black. There we go. And not black, but RGBA 000.1 or 0.3. And which one's the blur? I think it's this one. Boom. Add some blur. Alright, now we're talking. We got some cards. Put a border radius on there. Border radius. Something like that. Maybe 4 pixels. And so that looks pretty decent on, would probably look pretty decent on mobile. It's pretty small. You definitely want this padding to be like way more than that. Yeah, I mean, maybe something like that. Does that grow properly? Whoa, bro. So you probably want container query for that, right? Shouldn't that be? That can't be 4% of its own size. That's got to be 4% of like the window size, or maybe this size. Still no, though. There's no way that's 4% of the whole thing. What is the computed 80 pixels? Is 4% of what? I guess 2000. Oh, motherfucker. Okay, well, why is it jumping up there? Why? Do we need like a position relative on these? Relative. Why does 4% go all the way up to the padding? 4% is using the width of not the element, but the element's parent. God, shut up, Gemini. You are correct for the padding left and right. Like, if I have a card with width 500 that in a section that's width 2000, I want the card to have padding 4% of itself. Not 2000. Didn't think it was such a tricky thing. I think I'm missing something here. I always thought it was of itself. Like, you gotta be fucking missing here? There's no way. Is it because they're flex or something? Maybe because they don't have a width? Maybe this is it. Because they don't have a width. Let's just set width equal to 700 pixels. Still no. There is a flex basis. I don't think that's doing anything here, but anyway, 4% doesn't seem to work. So container query is kind of also container size. Isn't it container? Container type? Container type inline size, I believe, is what we want. And then padding for container query width. Motherfucker. Why? This isn't a card. I'm so confused. This is a container. If I want padding to be 4% of the elements width, how do I do it? This is so retarded. Yeah, well, it's not working. It's I'm getting fucking gaslighted here. Oh my god. Let's just reset this thing. I need some more coffee. Fucking hell, man. Well, this is really unfortunate why this doesn't want to work. I'm not sure if it's because of my funky properties. There's probably something else going on here. Max width. Alright, let's create a new page. New file, test.page, paste. Let's go to flex test. Okay. Then let's get rid of all this and just say .c wrap. And then .c left. You do have a lorem function here, I think. Or is it? Oh, it is imported lorem. Let's duplicate this as right. Let's forget all this. This is test, and then we just want wrap to be. Let's not even do flux right now. Let's just get this thing here. Alright, if this is left is width 500 pixels. Boom. And then we add padding of, let's say, 4%. What the actual fuck? Should be 20. Alright, I'm literally thinking that units width. Maybe that's always been how it is and I just never realized it, but well, so then would you have to wrap it again? The containing block. So it skips a level. I know, maybe I just never realized it because they were the same. Have I never learned that this is how it works? I've been doing websites for 10, 13 years or whatever. Okay, so if we take the width off of here and we put it on here, width 500 pixels. Okay, now we get 20 pixels of padding. Yeah, okay. Wonderful. So here we can't have padding, the right padding that I'm looking for. Well, and why doesn't the container query work properly? That's what's fucked. I thought for sure that would work. Try it again, maybe. We don't want this as the container. Do container query units target, like, can container query units target self? Do they skip self and look for a parent container? Nearest ancestor. It basically just means you have to use extra markup, which is just stupid, but okay. I mean, you could still have the same kind of dependency loop even if you just have a redundant container. I don't think it really prevents it. Is that might be misunderstanding something, but if we want the card's padding to be relative to, I mean, I was just thinking it could be relative to the whole container, and I just adjust it. The problem is that I don't think that's what you want. I don't think it would work as well. So it's possible I just need to wrap each item in a wrapper. Which is stupid, but let's see. Maybe we just call it a column. Oh Lord, motherfucker. Who made this stupid code anyway? Alright, that worked alright. And maybe we just hide this for now. And probably should have just duplicated the top one anyway, but okay. So now the percentage should work properly. Because it's the percentage of the parent. Which which stays the same until the thing starts shrinking. Yeah. And then gets really small, which is not necessarily a problem on mobile. It's kind of what you want, right? I think so. So I'm not going to put it in the framework just yet, but I'll put it here. Padding, let's say 5%. And then, so these are hitting their max width of 700, which doesn't necessarily have to be the max width. It does make the padding go crazy. How about 1,000? Oh, 10,000 would be a little much. What? Wasn't there something about... Looks like I already removed the min widths. The flex isn't doing anything. I thought there was a way to get this a little bit more squishy, like maybe wrap and shrink a little bit. Do they have flex? The flex properties have been misappropriated. Alright, we don't need this. This can come off and go to another class called column. And then this doesn't do anything now. And let's see what that does. Whoa! Maybe. Maybe we put the max widths on the columns. That's pretty wide, but yeah, that's okay so far. Boom. Now, why does it break here? Is that because of the 400 pixel basis? Will I break right here? They could go a little bit lower. I'm wondering what's causing the break. If it's the basis thing. Do the columns have, yeah, 400 pixels. Let's see if changing this. Oops, let's go. Yeah. I think it is. This basis value. The only thing is it wasn't below 400 pixels when it broke. Right here. There seems to be a little bit of lag, or at least 80, 1182, 81, 80, 78, 77, 76, 75, 73. Yeah, so at 73 it hadn't broken yet. Now we go up to 76, 77, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Ooh, 87. Yeah, so there's this pretty healthy overlap where it doesn't switch back, which is not terrible. I just don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I think it might have something to do with, are these columns equal? They seem to be. I guess it's very likely that there's some complications with my system. So I'm using max width and the basis value in order to get the breaking to work. To get to break at this point, and also to get it to, well, frankly, just so it doesn't expand past this part, right? Isn't that the, yep, 1,000 pixels. So I guess that's okay. Almost feels like this should have more than 5 pixels up here. Got some room to breathe. But then obviously that's like too much down here. And then it gets a lot bigger here. Finding that right sweet spot where it's just like 5 is probably not a bad spot. Well, so these, like, if this is more a presentational section, which it seems like it would be, then, well, the gap would probably be more, let's, can we also make that 5? Whoa, that's 5%? That's 5% of the parent. How about, well, it'd be like half of that, right? If we wanted to match the 5% of this. What should be bigger? I don't actually know. So that'd probably have to be played with. Just there's all kinds of different alignment scenarios there. The fact that these are not equalized is a little interesting. I would kind of expected it to, but we're doing all this, like this extra wrapper here, which is kind of convenient, just completely messes up the layout, sort of. Like I would need this to then maybe be display flex. Okay, so now it pulls the content down, but man, like, I guess you got to go all in with flex, huh? If you want to use it at all, you got to go all in. If you wanted to vertical center this content, probably wouldn't, but I guess for some, like if you had an image on one side and you wanted to vertical center it, then you'd need to put flex on this guy too. It's a lot easier in Figma to whip some shit together. But this is kind of the trick of web stuff, is that there's just so many permutations of what you might want to do, and how you actually code it out then is going to have a major impact on, well, even the markup. And so I have made so many changes I don't really remember where we were here. I don't know if I like these column wrappers. And like what kind of functions am I going to create? A columns kind of group and then a column function, or calls and call, COL, make it short and sweet. Maybe. But if it's just a class, then keeping it with like div.c is probably just a little bit clearer that that's all it is a friggin' class. So a columns, you know, wrapper and a column wrapper and then the content. I mean, it does, if you get it set up so that you separate the content from the layout, then you can swap out the elements better. Well, so I was just showing that, you know, this should be display flex, but does that change? I mean, it does kind of change the layout of the children from a default layout to, well, it stretches, at least this one, it stretched the column card to be full height. I guess it's not a problem, like it's just kind of a slight difference of layout, and you still could swap anything in and out. The idea is that, you know, if the interface between the container and the content is like doesn't exist, like there is no dependency there. The thing is, if you put something in there and it looks different than if you put it somewhere else, that's what's probably undesirable, but I guess stretching it to be full height's not terrible. Depending on how it behaves, you might want that, you might not want that. And it's not entirely clear to me which, like when you'd want either one. Also starting to like nest these things. Okay, so let's see if we can create a naked section. I'll just duplicate this whole thing and call this a naked columns. And then rather than have anything in them, well, maybe I just leave a word in here. Oops. So it doesn't collapse for now. And let's put a margin bottom on this, and whoa, I think let's go naked column background RGBA 0.1. Put the naked class on there. So now the columns here have this thing on there, and then we're going to do naked. I'll put all these naked things together. Naked, basically, I don't even mean naked, but sort of empty and naked and without padding. And then gap 0. Did that work? Did not work because this isn't the section. Did the padding not even work? This is a section naked. Oh, because I'm my targeting is completely off. But this should be. We can have the padding. The padding's fine. We just want the. I guess it's the flex. I should probably call that columns, just to be more clear. But we want the gap 0. The padding doesn't matter. Okay. Got rid of the gap there. Let's also put a border of 1 pixel solid RGBA 0.2 or 4 or something. That's too much. 0.3, 0.2. All right. Just so we can see it, and then we don't even need these words in there, but then it's going to collapse. So how about min height 50 pixels, and then we can presumably get rid of these so that they're seriously just empty. Okay. And those look cool because they're just very simple and blocky and obvious that what's going on with that layout. And so then the idea is you could just put one of these inside one of these. So let's copy this and then put this maybe on the right here. Tab this in properly, back out, get rid of this. Boom. Alright, so then we're actually going to do padding on these of, I don't know, maybe 5 pixels, just to have enough to see that it's kind of one is within the other. Alright, and then how do those break? Oh, why do they break? Because the column has the 400 pixel basis. So when it gets below 400, it likes to be bigger. That's cool. So I've never used flex basis for braking like that. Do these also have like a max width on them? I think I took the max width. Oh, it is on the column. Okay. I guess that's okay. Max width 1,000. I mean, would you ever want a column bigger than that? Yeah, I guess you might. But as a default, so this is going to default if this is 1,000 and this is 1,000, then we have 2,000 pixels there. If I throw this over on my other screen, let's leave this here. Let's just copy and come over to the other screen, which is much smaller, and put it. Whoa, bro. Nope, not yet. Come on, Windows. There we go. We go here. Let's pull up OBS so I can make sure we're looking at the right thing. You need to turn off this guy. So this, oh, I still have coffee left here. Nice and cold. That last sip of sludge coffee. But okay, so these are, this is not gonna work without putting this thing on the bottom. These are 800 pixels. But even if they were full width, with the scroll bar on this browser, it's 1905. And so they're never going to reach their max width. Well, they might if they, if they break. Should be over here. When does it break? Right here. I don't think that reaches it. How big is that? 745. Yeah, so I don't think they'd even, on a normal desktop monitor, my point is that 1,000 pixels wide is like plenty, and if it's a 2-column thing, then usually it's going to be much less than that, and if it gets to be a full 1,000, let's go back to the big one here. Yeah, so these are 1,000, and it's not terrible. So I have the 5% padding. Seems to probably be okay on mobile. Not too much, not too little. And kind of looks all right up here. Now the spacing here is pretty crammed. This could be bigger. I tried to do 5%, but it should probably be 2.5%, but that's even probably too much. And so, I don't know, like 2%, but the gap doesn't really matter as it gets too small, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of nice. Let's try 2% flex gap. No, we're not overwriting this. We're going to put it on our page. What was that? Flex gap. Gap 2%. I think. Whoa. I think it's because I turned it off on the other page. I just had the sidebar disappear on me, but I think I fixed that bug. Don't think I should do that anymore. Alright, so this is, it's kind of, well, yeah, so the padding kind of jumps, but I mean, I think this padding here is fine. This padding here is kind of weird because, like, generally you'd probably want these cards to have like a full bleed image. I should probably set that up because I don't think it'd be terribly hard. I could also try and do it as kind of like a dynamic icon banner type page with a preview. In fact, that's actually probably the best setup for my homepage even. A list of posts where the why can't I select that? That was weird. It kept blocking me. That was really weird. Anyway, this bit here would be a preview, and on this page, this little block could be kind of like highlighted or something as the preview. Could be kind of like a navigation. So you can jump to subpages real easily. It's like the most important stuff that gets rendered in a preview. And it could be arbitrary height, so that now that gets kind of weird because if you have things of different height, having them stack up like this isn't necessarily ideal. Also doing like a 3-column approach, like where they just kind of wrap endlessly. If they're different heights, then it gets kind of weird if you have drastically different heights. So I don't think having dynamic height previews is great for multi-columns. And I'm not sure exactly how, well, like, would you just have a single column of single column of posts? I mean, might be the way to go. It's not very desktop friendly. However, if each one is clickable and kind of expandable, I don't know. I gotta think all that through. It's one of the things I have yet to like kind of iron out. May never get there. Well, can we add a third column? I forget how that worked. We need this wrapper here. Don't know why VS Code can't duplicate lines properly. Boom. So the flex basis should still kind of force it to wrap. We could get equal heights here if we put flex on the columns, but we could try that. Flex column display flex. Boom. Equalize the heights. So it just lines up a little bit better. The gap. What is going on there? The gap is using... Is there no gap with wrap? You motherfuckers. No way. There must not be a gap with a wrap, flex wrap. I mean, I could try and look into the grids and see if grids can allow like wrapping in a better way, but I don't think you can even do like masonry type shit with grid, and I don't know if it's worth looking into. But more or less we just would find the card and the margin bottom, which is a 1M. Would 5% be the right thing there? It doesn't match the gap, but it does match the other thing. The gap needs to be 2.5. I think that's generally what we would want. Let's just set that all up. Card, margin bottom. I think this was 5% and the gap was 2.5. Alright, so it's not, whoa, yeah, it gets way bigger up here, and then we still get this unwanted space down here. There's really no way to get rid of that. That's kind of shit. Can flex wrap not handle the vertical gap properly? That's crazy. Like, if I turned it off, margin bottom, no margin bottom, and they just flex gap doesn't work with wrap. Says it should. Oh. So it's using the height of, let's refresh so we get current values here. It's using the height of the section, I think, to define the gap. So the gap as a percentage might not work properly. We might need to set a container here or something on the section. Then use a container query unit. And these relative values are a pain in the fucking ass. Holy shit. Well, let's just change this to 2M. So now we get the proper gap vertically and horizontally. Then we wouldn't need the card. Where's the fucking cards? And here, we wouldn't need these. No. And here, we wouldn't need these to have margin bottom then. We can just get rid of that. And let the flex gap do its job, which kind of makes more sense to me, but man, this third column, it's like, it's kind of cool here, but then this just kind of looks wonky. Like you jammed some shit in there and you didn't fix it properly. So 2 columns definitely kind of seems better. I think maybe if you do 3 columns, you want it to actually just break down to a single column. Like maybe they get smaller. There's so many ways to handle. What the fuck happened down here, man? It's because I put it on display flex and there's nothing in it. I think that's what's going on. These were. What? Is there something else going on there? Yeah, if you take the display flex. Why do they stack though? Why wouldn't they just be short and next to each other like they do? That's weird. That's actually quite strange. Why on earth are these stacking up this way? Because this, we're adding flex to this whole column. And then we're also adding flex to this wrapper. But again, why does it? Fuck, man. It's possible you just don't want this extra wrapper in this case. You can put columns directly in the columns. I mean, I can just comment this out and see. I have a hunch that tells me that's gonna fix it, but oops, not that one. Save this one. Yeah, that's weird though. Like if you put the flex automatically on a column, then you just don't need another. You can put columns within columns. It works. it's a little, well, it's not a uniform approach. Sometimes you need a flex wrapper, and sometimes you don't, apparently. Holy shit, man. I don't know if I want to keep doing this bullshit. But there's literally nothing else for me in this world, like, work-wise. Like, what the fuck else am I gonna do? Try and get into marketing or something, but I don't know. I could be pretty good at marketing, I think. Because I got an eye for design and understand at least a little bit about the social networks, but haven't been able to make anything work. I feel like if I had a budget, I could make some shit work. It's a shitty spot to be in, to be like, have your hands tied behind your back because you don't have any money to do anything with. Go get a protein bar. I'm fucking starving. Well, despite this column bullshit being way harder and slower and just less productive than I could have ever hoped for, it's at least like a step. It's a step in the right direction. I don't fucking know. Some Costco protein bars. Had like thousands of these. How many calories are these each? 190. Grab 4 of them. It's a nice little meal right there. Palm kernel oil. Peanut butter. Vegetable glycerin. Isolated soy protein. Chicory root inulin, maltodextrin, sea salt. I mean, it's a long list of ingredients, but it's actually pretty, not a ton of, I mean, I don't know if there's any of them that I really, I think maltodextrin's some sort of sugar. There's not really any of them that kind of, I would say, are terrible, or at least sound terrible. Most of them sound pretty vanilla. So, oh my god. Look at all the chocolate on that bad boy. Some of them have none. Some of them have truckload. It's crazy. Maybe it has something to do with how full the chocolate chip hopper is when as they run through. I do like those chocolate chips. God damn. It's got a lot of chocolate chips. Alright, so creating this like wide content. It's responsive. It's kind of cool. This gap That's too much, though. I think the 2% or 2.5% here. And, oh man, lost a chocolate chip. I'll never find it. Thought I heard it. Where'd it go? It's gone. Yeah, getting all this figured out. Also that vertical gap with the margin bottom problem. I kind of feel like this is so close to just being full width. If we just took that max width off, would these stack up to 3? Yeah. Maybe that's better. It's kind of big, but does it look better to have a full width block here? I mean, if these things were a little more responsive, like if this image went to the side here, or, you know, it was even just a really wide block, I could maybe see that working a little bit better. There's like much fewer chocolate chips. There's a whole inch in the middle there where there's 0. Yeah, so yeah, if the blocks were more responsive, could help them go from, you know, transition between these kind of more extreme aspect ratios of being really wide or, you know, taller and skinnier. But maybe what I'm going to do is duplicate this. Let's try margin bottom 0 and then gap 2M. I don't know. Doesn't look terrible. Doesn't really shrink enough. I could try and do container query or something, but I think this first one, let's just see what 2 columns look like, so the third one doesn't cloud the judgment. Oh my god. So they do center properly. The 3 columns down there. Let's see if we get rid of our nav. These don't actually max out. If I close this, they probably do a little bit, but it's hard to see. If I zoom out, yeah, now they do. We'll hit their 1,000 pixels. And could just let it go full. Take the max width off the column and use only basis. Whew, those get really wide. I think mean, I could use like another wrapper or something, but I don't see the need for that. I think that's, well, I don't know. It's a trade-off, I guess, then. Like, to have these max out at 1,000 here, which isn't a bad idea in a lot of ways. I don't know. I think the usage of columns, you know, you can use them for a lot of different things. Generally, you're probably going to need to customize the layout, but you also need a consistent layout. You want things to line up properly. You want it to look the right way. And I think that really varies depending on what kind of system you're doing. Like the amount of padding, the scale, all the things kind of like play into whether it looks right. And I'm not familiar enough with all the different use cases to know whether there's probably a couple prescribed situations where it's like, okay, well, in this case you do it this way, and then with this set of classes, and in this case you do it this way with this set of classes. All right, let's go back to 0, refresh, reset any changes, and this 2-column setup here seems to work all right. Yeah, and then on mobile, can we make the section padding be 2%? Should get bigger up here. And then shrinky dink with the rest of it. I think that's good. Section 2%. Section padding 2%. All right, so yep, and then I could, just for shits, get rid of the padding on the window, so that then when we get down to kind of a mobile type thing, we're literally just, how come that heading is so big even on mobile? It should probably keep shrinking. Like, it's just way too big up here. It stops shrinking right at 1300 pixels, but I mean, for that H3 there, that's so small. What does an H2 look like? Only a touch bigger. And then I didn't center it, the H2. I could center the H1 too. I mean, that's not a bad layout for mobile friendliness. It's a little colored background. It doesn't need to be there. Well, obviously there's a lot of things kind of missing from here. I mean, should these cards go full width? I mean, if it's a card type thing, like these where there's multiple of them, seeing the border I think is important. I think the background color on the sections doesn't necessarily need to be there. So then it would just look a little more fluid between the sections. Yeah, this gap of 2M, it's not like shrinking as the other gaps do, but I guess it's okay. Like, it kind of keeps them separate. But I guess then what I was thinking is if you're on like a single page and you go small enough, if there's only one page and you're on that page, then maybe the edge border disappears. So instead of it being kind of a list of different things that you presumably would click on. This is going to get potentially very small on different things. Well, that's maybe all I got in me for today. Put some margin top on the H1. Could be way too much. The background comes back. I guess I'm okay with it for a second. I think the font size for these guys can be 1.6. They're both one. Oh, this is line height, not font size. The font size is default. I think maybe H2 font size. Can it be 2M? Kind of fits a little bit better, I think, for like a big section title. Oops. This one can then be an H2. Yeah, and the sections could be either with or without background color, with or without margin bottom, RGBA 0, background, RGBA 0.2. So then you just have kind of alternating section colors or something. I mean, that's the simple way to do responsive content. Like, boom, 2 columns, whatever you want. There's all kinds of different layouts, whether this thing's got a background or not. Background, none. You can put an image next to a paragraph or whatever. 3 columns like that. That's pretty big and wide. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, actually, okay, so going from 2 to 3 here, I'm now remembering this whole concept of hard margins and kind of establishing this, like, if you're going to do the centered thing and you want it to, you know, kind of not sprawl out to this enormous width, which it could, I guess. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with this if you wanted to create a section that was kind of many columns. It'd sort of be like either side swipe or side scroll or a wrapping grid, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if the grid wraps, then it just kind of naturally fills the available space. It could just all fit, or it could. I could probably create something like that that's got a lot of little blocks just to see that it's if it's centered and wrapped, then it will behave fairly well on any size. So, I don't know, this is looking pretty decent. I think this is something I've done a million times in Figma, and I mean, I've done multi-columns on the web, but just getting that whole breakpoint system set up is kind of crazy. In the past, I did use some sort of either JavaScript or media query to break the columns or stack the columns or whatever, using different either turning on or off flex wrap or flex direction or whatever. And I do like this basis version because you can essentially set the basis on each item, and then it's going to automatically wrap at different points. And I could test that out with like a logo grid that has logos of different sizes. If it's going to wrap, you probably want them all to be uniform height, but then they could be varying widths, and then you could put a flex basis on each one essentially, or maybe each one is just fixed width. Yeah, I mean, I think if you hard code a width of the container, that might be not the way to go, because I saw earlier that the width of an element is kind of ignored even when especially if you're using flex basis. I don't know, I'd have to test that out and try and figure out what the heck's going on. Yeah, sections, titles, content, single column, multi-column. So this 1000 pixels kind of seems to fit, my monitor here pretty well. Let's look back over to smaller screen, close this out, maybe go full screen. So these aren't quite, I don't think these are quite 1000 pixels, but they're not terrible. Definitely more crammed in. I don't think you'd want, well, yeah, I think it works. I was thinking for a single column, you could have a bigger single column in the middle where the font size just gets bigger. This font size is arguably pretty small. It's not really hard to read, but like, I don't know, it just doesn't seems, I don't know, it's comfortable, I guess. I don't have a problem with it. What is this, 20? I think it's 20. Inspect, 20 pixels. So for a single column, so the columns themselves kind of control the maximum width. This kind of post type styling could be, let's see, what if we duplicate this and then get rid of one of the columns? All right, so it's still a column, and so it still has the, but what if we just got rid of this? We just got rid of 2 containers there. All right, now it's full width, but what if we did, let's just call this a post for a second. And on the post, we say max width, I don't know, maybe 1200 for now. That's pretty big. Okay. Padding goes crazy because it's actually padding of the, we'd probably want maybe like a squeeze type thing here. We need some sort of container just to get the percentage padding to work, which is, again, it's just blown my mind that that's how it's always been and that I never really had a problem with it. Is the squeeze here? It is, but it's still full. We want the squeeze to be this thing. Now, this should probably be way bigger, actually. Whoa. But, okay. And then, let me just test this. Margin 0 auto to center it. Okay. Margin 0 auto. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And this one's definitely bigger. And I don't know, could we just put a like font size 1.2M on there? Boom, now it's bigger. Now clearly everything wasn't coded in. Well, now that we have a post thing here, I could do like post image wrap. Post, my fingers wanted to call it a page. Could be a page. Content wrap. So post div.c image wrap. And then we'll put the fake image in here. Could just be the same thing, honestly, for now, but maybe later it's different. And then here, whoa. Jesus Christ, man. Div.c content wrap. And then here we put the content. So now we can get rid of. Is that still working properly? Yeah, because the page still, the post still has the thing. Let's get rid of card. Or it's not even a left card, it's just a. Alright, so post background, white, padding none, image wrap padding none, content padding, what was it before? 5%. Sure, why not? 5%. Seems like a good number. Okay, and then so the fake image no longer needs post date fake image margin bottom 0 image wrap. I don't know, do we need a margin bottom? No, I think the padding is going to take care of that right there. We probably want that padding to be more like 3%, 5%, 5%, 4%, 5%, 5%, just to snug it up a touch. This image can be, don't we usually do like a padding bottom 50% or something? Whoa, but yeah, doesn't have to be that big. Oops. Oh my god. Whoa, not that one. Padding bottom. Let's just do 20%. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. It's bigger, centered, way more presentable. So if I wanted to make a landing page or some sort of, home page, it's not a bad way to go. Also, just the aspect ratio of, and the size. So this is now up to 24 pixels because I boosted the font size on the whole thing. And so compared to these, it's just a little bit bigger and it naturally just works. However, this margin bottom is 1.5M. This margin bottom, because I took the card thing off of there, it is 1M. Wait, margin 24 pixels, but it needs to be more than that, doesn't it? Is this like an intro paragraph, or maybe I just do post P margin bottom 1.4. I don't know, what was it? Yeah, something like that. Okay, looks a little better. What was this one? 1.5. Fine. That's a lot, but I guess, especially in between this list here. Maybe the list needs a margin top. But, I mean, that doesn't seem like an excessive amount of padding if you had 2 paragraphs. But anyway, I had to play around with that. Definitely these images kind of suck when they're not full bleed, but that took a lot of extra markup. Getting some real images in there could be kind of cool. In fact, I think I have a test with a BG, which should have the URL. Boom. I don't know why this didn't go up there. I think if we do, what's this page? post. So no longer a fake image. We want background URL. Oops, URL. This guy. Boom. And then what was the other bits on there? Position 50-50, size cover. How do we do that though? Background 50%, 50%. Is that right? What cover? Does that have to go here? Cover. Just says background URL cover 50. How does that work? Color, image, repeat attachment, position, background size goes last, center, or 50-50. Oh, there's a slash after the slash. 50-50 slash cover. Cover. Boom. Alright, that's the one. Control A, Control C. Where was it? Right there. Control V. Doesn't that look sweet? Let's round those corners just like, what did I say? 4 pixels. Border radius 4 pixels. Yeah, but it didn't do it for the, I think it looks like it is down there, but not up here. Post. Shouldn't that crop those corners? Do you have to do like a overflow hidden? There it goes. Post overflow hidden, and let's go to 5 pixels. Why not? Alright, looking pretty sweet. Is it responsive? I don't think so. At least not particularly. It gets pretty small. But I mean, it's just like a detail. It's not really like a critical element. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the post title should even go in that banner area, kind of like you know, with these Notion pages. Where did I see one of those done recently where like the icon was above the banner? The title was even, I think. I don't think I'd be able to find it. It's not ringing a bell to like, so I could go find it. I don't know if it was on the web or if it was in Notion or if it something I was doing in Figma. Maybe it was something in Figma, but I don't know if I would have taken a screenshot of it. I don't think it's here or here. Could have been in here. Was an icon item. These are some icon items, but not the ones I was thinking of. Here's a bunch of shite, but also not sure. This is what I'm looking for. Where was that bit where it was an icon over vaguely remember this one. It's an icon on top of... These are kind of cool. A video overlay. Could go over the top, but putting it in like a side panel is probably just as good, because it's going to cover something otherwise. I mean, having a video that kind of goes side by side with some sort of content that can follow along, definitely something that's possible. Probably not even that hard. It would just take several days to figure out. What the fuck is this, Michael? Yeah, lots of layout stuff, patterns. Yeah, this was a cool one. This one should be further up here. The fat list. Some sort of cue, I forget exactly, but it was like, yeah, the ones you've watched go appear here. So this would, even though this was like further ago, this would be kind of like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get down to like, well, the last one you viewed would go underneath. You kind of like work your way through. So these were the ones that you've already watched, and then these are the ones that are up next. Now, I don't know why these are so big. This should be shrunk down and rescaled or whatever, but it's kind of a... Where was that thing? This one's a big one too. All kinds of shit in here. But I think it was a while ago, or maybe not this far ago, and I don't think it's in here. I don't think I'm going to find it, what I was looking for, but there was some... Maybe it's in here. Was it these? No... I think it was maybe a different platform. Was it? What was that platform that I had open? It was Monday.com. But I don't think that's it either. Let's see. Monday.com. Logged in. Yeah, there's a nice little... Who's this guy? Some automated thing. Didn't see that before, but so there was some sort of, I think it was this website, so maybe I can find what I was looking for. Home. No. It's like a post preview. Add board project. Maybe just a doc? Form and test. I don't think those are it. Doc. Blah, 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 blah. You have 3 days left on your trial. Well, wonderful, guys. Just fucking wonderful. Home, my work. I don't think I'm going to find it. There was some sort of preview page where there was like a banner and an icon on top of the banner, and well, I don't know where it is, but it looked alright, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't save a screenshot of it somewhere. I could try and go gallery mode. Isn't there a gallery? Calendar. Oh, there it is. It wasn't this one. I don't think I took a screenshot of it. So, I'm likely to see some stupid shit pop up in here, so we're not gonna scroll too far there. Alright, so I don't know, why can't I think of where that was? Kind of think it might have been Notion, actually, but The thing I'm thinking is the icon was in this like box on top of the banner, and like the title was next to it, and it looked pretty sweet, and it was like this small preview card, so it was kind of like more like one of these, whether or where it was like a post and the icon and the title. You could click on it and go somewhere else. I don't know where that was. Not sure if I could find it anywhere. It really escapes me, but not a big deal. But the thing is about UI stuff is that this is where humanity is just wasting their time. It's like, I'm wasting my time, and imagine how many other people just waste their time all day, every day, trying to fight through the bunky code. And if we could put our heads together and solve some of the bigger problems kind of once and for all, I mean, I would imagine some people might laugh at that and be like, you know, good luck. Good luck, Chuck. It's like, yeah, I know. It's quite ambitious, huh? Well, a guy like Elon, he wants some shit to happen. He sometimes has to yell about it or fire people, but he gets shit done. That's the kind of results that would be necessary, or action that would be necessary to get the results. Okay, so that looks pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie. I had at one point the banner image going vertically, and that also looks pretty sweet. I could try and incorporate like the post title into this, and maybe even an icon, because that could also be pretty sweet. And then that could be kind of the basis for the website content. Well, I started the stream with some sort of idea about trying to document my framework, and then I started thinking about how I need more or less simple columns and shit, and these are pretty decent. I think they would work pretty well for most resolutions and most content. They seem to respond pretty well. They break down. The gap is probably optional. If you have something more like these naked columns down here, they just stack up a little tighter. And so I could probably create a few sections that are just, you know, basic examples of each of these cases where you have different things. But okay, so when we start trying to like prepare all the potential layouts, it's at first it seems like, okay, there's probably just a small handful of these things, and let me just see if I can kind of itemize the different variants so that I have an example, so that right now, while my brain is in like responsive column coding space, which it always, you know, I always forget, like, wait, how the fuck do you set up these columns? What are the properties? Like, how do you get the HTML and the columns, and well, the percentage padding, like, what a fucking nightmare that was. Getting the heights equalized to, you know, put flex back on the column to pull the content. I mean, there's just so many of these little nuances, and it's like, really? And I'm supposed to remember all this for next time. And I've gotten to the point where, as I've said, my brain is just deteriorating faster than I can, you know, remember these things. And so it's kind of bullshit. So, so what do we do here? So I need a break. Play another game of chess real quick. Maybe that'll help me, but if I lose, it's gonna just ruin my day. Alright, let's go. Should we go faster? No, we already got a game. Alright, let's go. I usually do one of these. One of these. Oh, okay. I don't know. That's weird, but what would I do here? Probably just pull him back. I can't really pull my bishop out though, because I guess we're gonna go here. I think he's gonna castle. I don't think he can castle elsewhere. I don't think this is gonna scare him from castling. Do I have to be worried about this knight coming forward? Not yet. Should I try and prepare for... Maybe I just do one of these? I mean, he can move it already. I do kind of think I need to hurry up my castle. Although he's got this pawn blocking the whole pin thing. Alright, why don't we go here? And just to give my bishop a little more strength. Could put the knight up there, which just puts a little more pressure, but I can't really sneak in behind. So he castles. I think this is alright. Could kick me. I think I let him take my bishop if he wants to do that route. Although I am blocking my queen's angle. I don't know. Normally I would just let him take my bishop with this pawn, but maybe that's a bad idea here. It's not quite the right situation. Okay, if I take the knight, he can sneak into this pawn here. Could take with this one first. He likely recaptures. I could do this again, and then he might go down here. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky spot. He didn't take anything. I don't really have to do anything here. Could also just move up here. Don't really... Yeah. I kind of want to get ready to castle, so why don't we do one of these? No. Why don't I do this first? To relieve some of the pressure on that knight. He could take it first. But I would probably take this. No, he'd check me here. Fuck. Alright, whatever. No, okay. Could take it. Queen comes up. I think we'll do... I mean, I could double up on the pawn, but he just pushes forward. Where do we want the queen to be? Maybe here. There's no way he takes this knight. He wouldn't want my queen looking at this diagonal. does he do? What does he do? I don't know. I might kick my bish here. Oh, okay. I don't really see the benefit of that, but okay. Okay. I'm feeling this move is coming here. He wants to move the spawn, I think. No. What if we do this? I think I like that. I think he has to recapture the pawn first. Well, he could threaten my queen. Probably come up here. And then he'd be in trouble. Let's see what he wants to do. Oh, kids are home. Can't believe it's already 3:48. Holy shit. It's crazy how reliably they get here at 3:48, like every day. Exact same time. I'll have to go talk to him about, well, probably